Okay, so we're going to revisit the signage then for the cold storage here. And as you know, these were decals from microscale that I applied onto 80 thou evergreen plastic. I just roughed it up with some light sandpaper, painted it gray with this pale blue gray. But with this one here, I'm not going to bother varnishing it. I'm just going to paint it straight with Tamiya flat base. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this first because this dries really fast and it has a real, like a kind of a chalky. See this here? It looks like talcum powder almost on the edge of the um, paint jar here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a risk here. I'm just going to, a lot of times I varnish this, but I'm not going to bother with this one. I'm just going to lay some of this Tamiya flat base, quite heavy, on like so. Actually, I'm going to lay a little bit more on there. Because I don't mind if the decal decides to do something funny, because it's going to be weathered anyway, right? And so with this one, I'm going to just take some of this satin varnish by Vallejo as well, water-based. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to just pour some on from the eyedropper like that. Just a little blob. And I'm just going to spread it around a bit. Just to create another barrier, that's all. And then I might try an oil wash on this one and see. But this is what I've been stressing kind of throughout a lot of the content, is try different methods. Like, don't get hooked on one particular idea. Like, there's so many other channels out there too, and other modelers doing just fantastic work. Other model railroaders that are just have brilliant ideas. And that's the beauty of the well, just the internet, not just YouTube culture, but all the blogs as well, and the plethora of tutorials and information out there is just incredible. Okay, so what's this doing here? Is that, see how it's starting to change? Okay, so I stepped away for a few minutes, and as you can see, this sign here that we put the satin varnish on is it's almost dry already. That's the beauty of acrylics, it dries lightning fast. I'm just going to leave that for now. Might put another coat on there in a bit, but this is going to be a different process, this one here. So look at this. Uh-oh, right. When this chalk material, it kind of goes into the cracks and things, and it does interesting, like it creates interesting effects, like almost like a, you can see it along here if you look there. Like, watch what happens when a little bit of umber, put a little bit of umber on there. This is water-based now. With this stuff, if you keep it wet, Remember how I talked about wet on wet? Keeping the model wet. In this case, watercolor. So it's just a umber filter, okay? So I think I'm going to leave that. When this dries, the tone will diminish somewhat. And we just want a mild weathering, you know, just nothing too crazy there. You can even catch some of this, what would have been probably 4x4 or 6x6 risers. Put a bit of wash on there too. Anyway, we'll lay that aside and see how that looks, okay? Okay, so the sign's starting to look pretty good actually. It's always a good rule of thumb to knock things down in layers. Like, try not to do it all in one go when you paint. I try to emphasize this, like the real trick to getting some of those look, you know, that look, the depth, is just a multiplicity of very, very gradual layers, either from just a neutral position to dark or just the neutral position to light. So this would be called the neutral position, right? So if I go with dark washes, I just do really light dark wash, lots of water, ever so slight, let it dry, then come back at it again with the water-based paint, because once this water-based paint dries, it doesn't move very easily when you put water over top of it later. So that's the idea. So with this one, right, we laid on a thin wash of Burnt Umber, number 71040 by Vallejo model there, right? Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of this here, number 71244 Sand Beige, and I'm going to do the same thing. A couple drops of water into, I'll show you this amount. Just like this here. And because I want to knock this down more. I'm just not happy. Like, I don't want this to be, when it's on the building, and I'm going to show you a shot on the diorama when this is done, mounted on the building. I don't want this to scream. Okay? I don't want it to scream out loud at the viewer. I want it to blend in and be happy with the rest of the look of the surrounding scenery and the weathered, aged look of the building itself, right? So this is a sand beige, so the umber's going to show through, right? But it's going to be knocked down a little bit, okay? There we go. I'm hoping that some of this finds a happy place right here. You know what I'm sounding like, right? Okay.